Darius tonight in his return?
Excellent in the first half. I think the second half, caught up a little bit to him, but then at the end, I thought he was really good. He made some two bullets to DeAndre there in the corner, just speed downhill. But there was a reason why we got to the rim a lot tonight, and it just wasn't his penetration, but his. I thought he fed Evan. We've missed that, so I felt like we're at their rim all night, and a big reason was DG.
When he's out there, how does he change what the identity of this team is?
It's we're so much more versatile. We play with so much more speed. I felt like we had some kind of last year transition possessions where we sling it across this, the court and we swing it, and so I felt a little bit more like ourselves tonight. I thought having Jalen back was huge. Guy's playing like a 10-year vet, and he's making threes at a clip, at a high level. He's doing all the role player stuff, really not making a lot of mistakes. I'm just like beyond thrilled that he's back and that this guy's gonna be a really good NBA player. He's really surprising a lot of people.
Joe.
Keny, you had a lineup in there a couple of times tonight where Darius and Lonzo were next to each other.
Yeah.
And they can obviously change the geometry of a game because Lonzo plays so well in transition and Darius plays so well.
Great point. Yep.
How do they kind of complement each other, and what do you see already?
Yeah, two high IQ guys, and then with Lonzo we can put them really on 1 through 4. That's what I'm realizing. We put him on Durant the other night for stretches. I know they did that in Chicago a little bit. Can put him so you can. Lonzo can play opposite, so it complements Darius well. But then I think the beginning of the fourth we had I think we had Zoe. Was Darius out there too? Zoe, Darius, and Donovan, and that kind of 3-guard line, especially against their pressure. We didn't have that last year. That kind of third guy, that they could also guard. Guard big guys. So, I feel like Zoe's starting to catch his rhythm, playing much better.
And you mentioned before the game about just the joy that Jalen Tyson can bring, but obviously also Darius has that kind of energy to him as well. In a season that is supposed to be more critical of the bigger picture that you guys have going, how important is it to have two guys that can keep it light in any given night?
I think it's important. I even felt it with the crowd tonight. I felt like there was the excitement was up. Those two guys bring a lot of life to the arena, a lot of life to the team, a lot of life to the bench. So, I think without them, we're a little more business. Don's business-like, Evan's business-like, but they're kind of, they can be goofy and fun and have a laugh even in tense moments. I know it helps me. It helps me to calm down sometimes. Those guys are they got great spirit.
So,
Keny, Evan 7 of 11 from the line tonight. A little bit better compared to the past couple of games, but is he just in a free throw shooting rut?
Yeah, I think, did he start out 0 for 2? So I felt like as the game went on, he got back to the old Evan. I didn't, you'd worry if it was extended into, but he'll get it back. I think, people go through little slumps, but I looked at the technique. I looked at a couple of his free throws, seemed same as last year. So these things become confidence, and I will say the other point, I've been playing Evan longer stretches this year, and I'm not making excuses for him, but there is an adaptation to those longer stretches, to the fatigue that comes with that, and we got him. listen, we got him doing a lot of stuff. He's handling it more. He's playing both ends, both ends in the paint. So I do think fatigue is playing playing a part in that.
Danny. I'm sorry, Spence.
In particular with Evan, just Darius's impact on him, you kind of touched on it earlier. It looked like there were just a little bit more of the situations where Evan was driving and he was even kicking out too, like jump passes out to a guy and then he'd swing it over, and then, like you said, kind of looked like last year. Just from that perspective of those two working like that, could you just kind of dig into that?
Yeah, I just it's the but we had spacing tonight. Now we're probably against Houston, we had lineups out there with, probably 3, non-shooters. Now we're throwing out 4 shooters, sometimes 5 shooter lineups with Darius back and Jalen back. So that makes Evan's life so much easier. But I thought DG was really the catalyst to Evan tonight, getting him going, just hitting him in the pick and roll. He saw when a couple times they switched, and he threw it down to him in the post. I know Evan's happy he's back, and he does the same thing for JA. He's our paint invader, whether it's with his own penetration or getting it to those big guys.
How rare of a phenomenon is it for 4 guys in the starting line to score at least 20?
Oh, I didn't even know. Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah. We've always. I thought we had 3 or 4 possessions you want to put on the coaching highlight film, right? In terms of making the extra pass, extra swing pass, crisp, great spacing. Like they were again, reminiscent of stuff we had going on last year, and. Like I said, having those 2 guys back, Darius and Jalen really helps. Helps with our spacing. We can make those plays.
Trey Modlin, WOVU 95.9 FM. Nemard had 32, Siakam had 26, Mathurin had 21. They combined for 79 of Andy's 109 points. What challenges did they present?
We haven't figured out how to stop those guys. So, really, they were outstanding. We looked at it at halftime. We knew we had to slow them down, but they, all 3 of them played well. That's probably the negative from our standpoint. Defensively, we didn't have answers for those guys. But they are, they're high level players, and tremendous respect for their talent, how they play, how they compete. They do it on both ends. That's why this is a finalist last year. They have those 3 are great players.
Last one, Chris.
Keny, you talked about Jalen's 3-point shooting before the game, and he came into tonight as your leader in 3-point percentage. How surprised are you at the way that he has shot the ball this year?
Surprised, because that wasn't his kind of niche in college, and he was a ball handler, playmaker. I think he's a really interesting case of a guy just transforming his game from what he did at Cal to how we've asked him to play, the role we've asked him to play. Might be the one of the biggest kind of transformations from what a guy's role was in college to completely kind of changing for what we need, for what this team needs. Because those playmaking abilities didn't go away. He can do that stuff, but he knows for this team that's not it. So he's just he's asked, he's responded to what we've asked, what the leaders on this team have asked, and now they're all behind him, right? And he's got that momentum, and then they trust him to make those passes to him when they pack the paint. He's knocking those shots down. It's huge for us.
Okay, let's go wrap.
All right.